Yo, what's going on? It's your main man, Rick the Dawn, and we are back with another one, man. Super excited. Yeah, it's been a little while. I've been preoccupied with businesses and stuff like that, but I'm not too far away from the last episode that I don't remember this guy. Lucas Evans. That's him, everybody. Uh, Seemed to be higher ranked than me as far as his stats. It's kind of a give and go. You don't really know until you get in the ring with the guy. And why prolong it? We are 12-0 according to the statistics. This guy, yikes, he is a whopping 17-12. If anything, we have to be a little concerned about his experience. That seems to be what's going on. All right, if you watched the last episode, you saw me take on two of my biggest challengers. One guy called me out, and he was better than me. He was higher ranked than me as far as pound for pound is concerned. But I stepped up to the plate and was able to get the win by knockout. Then I fought another person by the name of Don, which was very ironic. And of course, we had Don versus Don. That was a heck of a fight. And he pushed me. He pushed me to the limit. And we were able to get the win there. And if we're looking at real world scenario or connotations, Lucas Evans, the guy we're fighting right now, has seen both of those fights and thinks he can take me out. He thinks he can probably do what the one guy who called me out couldn't do. Because on paper, Lucas Evans is also better than my fighter. All right, but we are in the legendary Metro Manila Arena, and I'm only letting you see a little bit of this because I typically don't. 12-0, 12 knockouts. I don't want to fall in love with that whole knockout record thing because then I look like the typical boxer chasing knockouts. I don't want to be that. Just so happens, I want my fighter to be more so known for just being a good boxer. And because you're a good boxer, you knock fighters out because you have the mechanics down. I'm a little nervous for one big reason. Oh, he's a puncher. Oh, okay. More so than I thought. Okay. And he's catching me a little rusty. Let's be real. Okay. I'm not that rusty, I guess. He doesn't block, which is that's awesome. Okay. That's pretty awesome. Hey, Lucas, keep it up, bro. You don't block. Cool. You're going to have to learn to block with me. Good strategy there. And he was able to avert. I don't like this. I'm going to tell you because I did a terrible job with executing that knockout. And the way he's punching, he can easily activate a knockout sequence on me. Easily. He's punching like with bad intentions. And he's a volume puncher, it looks like. Oh, wow. Good hit. I'm doing a good job with activating a knockout sequence. I'm not doing a good job with actually getting a knockout. Yeah, I'm not doing a good job with getting a knockout. Somebody explain to me why that's not happening. But again, I'm going to stop chasing him. In fact, I'm going to keep chasing him because I've had success with it, I guess you could say. I've already created 2 knockout sequences, but what I won't do is chase knockouts. But I'll keep chasing him only because he's not doing a good job with protecting himself, especially after he misses a punch. So I'm doing a great job countering him, but I have to be careful. As you can see his strength, he has it. And he's a volume puncher, which is pretty interesting. I never thought I would say that about an opponent in this game. A lot of them seem to run away. This guy punches in volumes. But he's slick. He's very slick. I'm going to tell you what EA seem to have done with this game. Okay, I'm going to tell you exactly what they've done. Ooh, good punch. Ooh, I almost crashed out there with a bad miss push on the buttons. But EA, what they did was they gave everybody like their unique traits. All right, this guy has a bad chin, obviously. But he's really good at averting the knockout, though. I can't finish the job on him. And it makes me look kind of desperate, actually, trying to chase this guy down. And then his recovery rate is phenomenal. He's like an amazing recoverer. But his fighting style is this. He runs, but he stops to punch you. And it kind of reminds me of those old Punch-Out games where even though it was a Nintendo, they still had great AI ability back then because each fighter had their own idiosyncrasies, and that's exactly what I'm dealing with here. Like he fights on his back foot. As you can see, he's walking backwards, but he will stop to throw a gang of punches. That's why I'm able to counter him so frequently because I'm expecting the punch, and that's why he keeps getting knocked into this knockout animation. All right, I'm gonna throw some uppercuts in there. Am I doing something wrong? What am I doing wrong? Because I can't finish the job. I don't think I've gotten anybody in a knockout sequence this many times without a knockout. I think this is like a record or something. But he stops to throw his punches. It's like he has this thing in his mind where he has to throw. It's like he can't just. Ooh, good punch. He tried it. He tried it. He can't just like, hey, I can't run from this guy. It's like he told himself that. Like, I'm not going to run from him like everybody else has. I'm going to punch him. I'm going to fight him. But at the same time, he's like, I got to get away from him too. Oh, good punch. I feel bad for only throwing hooks. I'm not really. He's so open, man. Like, I can't play around with this guy. Like, he's open. Like, his whole head is open. Ooh, I love that punch. That punch is so sexy to me. Oh my gosh, that punch is nice. It's like he told himself, I'm not gonna run from him. I'm gonna stand and I'm gonna stand and box him. And he probably didn't know how good of a defensive fighter I was. You see the knockouts, you see 12 wins, 12 KOs, and you think, oh, this guy's a knockout artist. All I gotta do is throw some punches his way, he'll back off. Not realizing, like, no, man, I'm actually a tactician as far as defense is concerned. So touching me and hitting me is going to be a difficult thing. All right, but now that I realize I can't just knock him out with ease, here's where the fight's going to stop and change. I'm going to take a little break here. I'm going to back off a little bit. And from round 3 on, I'm going to switch my tactic. You're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to continue to chase him because I think that activates the counter sequence, or rather, it allows me to counter him. And if I throw the right punch, which I have been to this point, see, he's a volume puncher, which is interesting, by the way. I got to be careful, though, because he is a volume puncher. That's exactly why I have to be careful. But I'm going to continue to stay in front of him because he's not going to – let me see what happens if I back off and see if he comes to me. I don't really – yeah, it's hard to hit him. See, that's why I have to chase him, because if I don't chase him, he'll pick me apart. He can fight from the outside. I got to keep chasing him because what happens is it allows me to close the distance. So when he misses the punch – it's allowing me to be right there to hit him with that nice counter. But he's a volume puncher, so I got to be careful. But I'm going to make a slight change. You know what the change is? I got to stop throwing only hooks. Even though I'm still throwing hooks as we speak. But I got to stop doing that because he's too good for that. I gotta bait him more. Meaning I got to go body, I got to go jab, I got to throw some straights. I got to vary my punches, believe it or not. And he seems to always be there and open for a counter. So I don't have to necessarily worry about that. But I have to vary my punches because I'm noticing that is the only weakness that I see in this fight. I'm not throwing a variety of punches. I'm not going to the body. I'm kind of like chasing the knockout. And I don't want to become that fighter. But, you know, he seems to continue to throw punches that I'm able to counter. So you can make an argument that his speed is not up to par. But you know, he's a puncher, you know, and I think I got to be careful here. You might not believe it, but I know for a fact that he has the ability to beat me, all right? You might not be able to tell, but trust me, I've seen fights like this go bad, and I'm going to tell you why. Because he just catches me one time, just one punch, one flash knockout sequence, and then he makes the right decisions from that point. I'm done. It can happen extremely easily. So I have to be careful. Especially considering that I'm only throwing these hooks. I have to make an adjustment, and I haven't made it yet. To this point, I haven't used any of my points, and I did that intentionally because I want to just have a ton of points just sitting there waiting on me. So what I have to do is, what I should start doing is switching up my punches, but being smart about countering. And when I do counter, of course, we're going back hooks. We're going hook crazy because the hook seems to be the most powerful punch against him. But when he's not throwing, when I'm not countering, I need to be throwing a barrage of different punches. Good punch. All right, good punches right here. This is a good sequence right here. And one thing I might have to start doing is throwing some power punches. I'm not really throwing them. I hate throwing them. I look a little desperate. But it's times like this that I have to start to consider. All right. That was a mistake. I thought that was the power modifier. That was the illegal punch modifier. Goodness gracious, that was embarrassing. All right, you see, he's not a power puncher. I didn't mean to say that. He's a volume puncher though. He's gonna throw, man. And see, that's the punch right there. You saw that punch? That'll be the punch right there that can end my whole situation. Okay, is that the power modifier? I pushed the wrong thing. I should know the buttons by now, right? You would think so. All right, but I got to go back to variety. All right, and he's making this a very difficult fight, man. There you go. That's the punch I want right there. That was a nice power punch, and it caught him right on the button, and it was perfectly timed. So I guess the power modifier is L2. I kind of got that mixed up. That's it right there. Oh, yeah. I caught it. All right, here we go, y'all. I got him. Come on. He's in the corner, and I probably need to. This guy's like very good at averting a knockout. To have put him in a knockout sequence this many times and not finish the job is hilarious to me. I've never been this bad at completing a knockout. All right, but he's going to be there for that knockout over and over again, so I don't have to chase it. You know what I mean? Just play smart, fight smart, and I think that will all be there for me. And he's taking tons of damage if you look. Now, my punches don't seem to be, having the same effect, but they are about to have the same effect because I just boosted my stamina up. And one thing about this game, that's it. All right, too slow. One thing about this game, the power is directly attributed to how much stamina you have. So, we're not going to chase the knockout, though. Because he still has the power to do his thing. I don't want to embarrass myself. Ooh, that's it right there. Beautiful punch. Oh, no, I meant to press X. All right, that was dumb. I just lost a point. I should have let you see that just in case you never saw it before. And it makes me terrified for one big reason. I can be DQ'd rather. That's what I was trying to do, and I pushed the wrong button, and I just embarrassed myself on national television. But I gotta get this guy out of here now, and I gotta be careful about not pressing the wrong button because now it's personal, now it's serious. I think one more of those, I'm done. Not even because he beat me. It'll make a great episode of chasing Ali, of course, but it would not be something I'm happy about personally. All right, I'm still putting him in the knockout sequence. I'm not even excited about this anymore because I've had him here so many times, and I just haven't been able to finish the job. Oh, now he's done. Because once he gets here, he's done. I thought that I would have him here a lot sooner, but I guess not. Meaning that my punches are now seeming to go through his guard. I got him right where I want him. It is no reason why I shouldn't be able to finish this fight. Now, if you're wondering why he's so difficult for me, I'm going to tell you exactly why. I've kind of studied it to this point. He's always fighting on his back foot. And he only makes a mistake when he stops and tries to go for that Valiant punch thing. He has two characteristics, and I'm assuming that this is how EA has kind of set it up. He's a fighter that fights on his back foot. That's his first characteristic, which means it's hard to punch him. His second characteristic is that he's a Valiant puncher, meaning he'll stop occasionally to give you some of his, some of his punches, several of his punches. But then he'll get back on his back foot, which is like, why it's so difficult to knock him out? Like, okay, great. You stopped and you threw all these punches. You missed a lot of them, and I was able to tee off on you. But then, right as I was about to do my thing, he gets on his big wheel and he sprints away, and it's hard to get him. So what happens is when I'm trying to do all my technical punches, like my body shots and my straights and my hooks, he's not in position or range for me to get off on that. Ooh. Oh, you saw it? I love that about this game, man. I think EA really nailed this one, bro. And what happened was, you see that green bar at the bottom where it says block? If you just keep blocking for a long or extended period, that'll get, low, obviously, because you can't block infinitely or forever. So that gets low, and if you time it perfectly, you can throw a good punch at him, and it'll go through the guard. And I love when it happens. Oh, you cannot take those, all right? You cannot take those, my guy. All right, now it's time to go back to round one strategy, meaning let him punch himself out. We know what he wants to be. He wants to be a Valiant puncher. We know that's not what he is. So what we're going to do is we're going to allow him to pretend that he's a Valiant puncher. We're going to counter the blood out of him, and we're going to be ready for the knockout. I'm kind of nervous now because I'm afraid to press this modifier here. Ooh, good block. He's taking some good shots, and he's also giving some good shots. There it is right there. This is why I'm still respecting him. Despite the fact that he's taking some shots, he's went down once on the canvas. He's still, a threat to win this fight, believe it or not. I love what he did there. He allowed me to counter him, but he followed it with, I believe that was a jab, and it was perfectly timed. And so he, I guess if this was a real situation, he's starting to realize, like, okay, I'm getting countered a lot. So when I throw a punch, if he counters, I have to make sure I follow up that punch with something strong. And in that case, he did. Ooh, man, that punch is so disgusting to me. Ooh. All right, we went a little punch crazy that round, and we didn't get much back from it. I think the right strategy would have been to continue to, counter and follow it with a hook. But I'm not mad at what happened. I'm going to go ahead and invest some points here into my health because I just think you can kind of get sloppy there and not realize how much your health is depleting. All right, let's go back to the basics here. Let's go to chasing him down and allowing him to do that right there. Punch himself into trouble. We're going to chase him. Ah, I love that punch. Oh, my gosh, that's my new favorite punch right now. And I've landed it 4 times. I've counted it. All right, we're chasing him down because we know he's a runner. And we also know that he's coded to stop every blue moon to throw his punches because he has to throw flurries. And we know that we've been able to effectively block his advances and get busy. Good punch by him, though. If I was his coach, though, I would say, man, keep doing what you did that one sequence where you threw a punch and you anticipated the counter, which means you followed it with another punch. Now he's getting sloppy. I didn't even have to counter him to get those punches off. And that's where I want to be at, where I don't have to counter him necessarily or wait for him to punch in order to get something good. And I think right now is the perfect time to throw some, do some boxing. But he's always on his back foot, which makes it very difficult to hit him. And one thing I haven't done was go body, man. I haven't really done much with, to the body. And I think that's just waiting to happen. Ooh, how did he block that? That's crazy. But one thing about it is, you got to be very quick. You almost have to anticipate the counter sequence. It just doesn't happen this frequently. I'm just not prepared for it. Like, no boxer I've fought has got caught with this many counter sequences. But he's getting off. I think this is probably a positive round for him. Because his strategy is finally working. I think it's because I'm starting to get kind of, like, lazy. And that was, all right, I'm going to back up. And then I'm going to stop and tee off. All right, this has to be the last round, if not this round, the next round. I think at this point, I've kind of figured out his whole niche. He doesn't seem to have much to offer. He doesn't have a really powerful punch. By this point, I was really expecting to have been put in the knockout sequence, but perhaps my chin strength has increased, or perhaps he just doesn't have the power to get me there. So I'm not going to fear him or the possibility of any of that right now. I think right now it's time to dig deep and start to, okay, yeah, there it is. That knockout, rather that uppercut has been a problem for many of my opponents, man. Just that power in that uppercut. You can see he's just taking them, and he's not able to withstand those punches. Yeah, but as you can see, he's a fighter, man. He's a champion in his own right. Oh, I would have loved to get that punch off. And I think instead of waiting for the counter, I think we're going to go ahead and barrage him. Hit him with a barrage of punches. He doesn't seem to have what it takes to withstand a lot of punches right now. His health is very low. And certainly, if I'm able to counter him, he's done for. He's not punching, and I think that can be attributed to just fatigue. He doesn't have the same stamina he had earlier. So his punch output has went down significantly. And his speed has even went down. One thing about it is I haven't punched myself out, or I haven't punched too crazy. I've been more or less waiting for the counter. And now I think what's happening is I can kind of punch with him. Somehow he made it to round 8, so much credit to him. He's doing better than a lot of my opponents by this point. And I think I'm having oh, there it is. He can't take any punches right now. And I love that once you get him to this point, you can throw punches without losing stamina for a minute. And that could have been a knockout, or at least something that knocked me into the sequence. He can't take many punches without, getting putting in the knockout sequence. And I think this is a great time to throw the jab. But my speed has went down significantly as a result of the wane and wear and tear on missing so many punches. I think this fight I missed a lot of punches. I missed a lot of punches this fight. And it's mainly due because he's fighting on his back foot, and it's very difficult to chase this guy down while at the same time staying effective with throwing punches. So, shout out to him, man. He wasn't a bum by any stretch of the imagination. He just wasn't the scary boogeyman I thought he might have been. And this might be the first fight that goes to the distance. And like I said, much respect to him. But I think I can fix that. I think there's some things that I can fix in this fight without having to watch the film. And I think that's kind of what it is. Sometimes you watch film and you say, okay, I could have did this better, could have did this better. because I watch my own episodes sometimes just to see like, how the commentary is, all that kind of stuff. But I think one thing I would say to myself is, why did you go away from the counter? You let him punch himself out. Don't chase the knockout because he's fighting on his back foot. He's going to do that regardless. But we know what he's going to do also. At one point, he's going to stop and he's going to throw. And that's it. Just kind of wait for that. There it is right there. And then you got to be quicker with your punches, obviously. I just feel like if I'm not throwing, I'm giving him the opportunity to win. Like, even in real fights, that's one of my golden rules. Punch. Like, don't wait for anything. Don't wait for him to take off his coat, shirt. Don't wait for him to finish talking about what he's going to do. Just punch. Don't wait for him to punch first. Just be the first one to punch and punch often. Don't worry about your stamina, fatigue. Just punch. And when I'm sitting there waiting to counter him, I feel like that's exactly what I'm doing. I feel like I'm waiting on him. Oh, I like that punch. I just discovered a new punch. The jab to the body, which is pretty crazy, actually. He's doing a good job, man. One thing I will give him credit for is just surviving, man. Yeah, he's right out of my distance where I can't really tee off on him. Look, he's running now. He's not even throwing his usual flurries. He's just running at this point and blocking. I can't even really get off on him in terms of just like good punch. He's been trying to get that uppercut off all night, and I'm afraid if he gets it, he might actually have something there. Yeah, he's blocking and running. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm really ashamed because this is the last round, and I'm not sure it's going to be any different. I have to give him his credit, man. You got to give credit where it's due. He is running his butt off, and he's not punching. So it's like, what are you going to do exactly? All right, this is a very rare moment where he kind of let his hands go. And I seem to be slowed down on the counter reaction. Like, yeah, see, he takes a couple punches, and I think he learns his lesson. Like, okay, let me get back. All right, that's it right there, right? Is he going to actually survive, man? We're going to find out right now. If he gets up again, man, he might have broken a record as far as my – okay, cool. All right, so we are able to keep the KO streak alive, but it was not easily earned. This guy just wasn't going like that, man. And he won some rounds. That makes me incredibly upset. In fact, according to Judge 1, he won way more rounds than I gave him credit for. And this is why you got to win by knockout. This is what happened with Tank and Roach. Like, if you don't win by knockout, you pretty much leave it to the judges. And as you can see, is exactly what I said. For both the head punch total and the body punch total, they are lower than his, one. And number two, they're very low in general. I only, landed 44% of my headshots. And if you watch the footage like I just did, you saw I threw tons of punches to his head. I only connected on 44% of those punches, which tells you one thing. This guy was hard to hit. All right, I don't know what you see when you watch me play, but I can tell you right now, when I'm actually playing, look at that. My connect percentage went down. I did not like or enjoy fighting Lucas Evans. He was not a fun fight for me. He was running, and he had great defensive skills in terms of his blocking, and it just was not the usual KO fest that I like to enjoy. So shout out to Lucas Evans for just being a difficult fight in general. I almost went the distance, and according to some of the judges, he was a strong, he actually did pretty well. And you know what that means, right? Do I have to tell you what that means? That means I got to fight somebody that's going to boost my confidence. And you know who I'm going to pick? I'm going to pick good old Lauren Bryant. I don't know why. I can't tell you why Lauren Bryant is here. It's just like he follows me throughout my career. Now, I beat the brakes off this guy a long time ago. And for whatever reason, and I can't tell you why, he is still around for some reason. Okay? He's still around. He's still there. So we're going to fight him again. And we're going to fight him after 2 training sessions, which is pretty illegal, right? It should be illegal. And I want to show you something real quick. One thing about Lauren Bryant that seems to keep catching my attention is that, you know what? I can't see it now. I was trying to see his last few fights, and I'm not sure I can see it from this particular point. But he seems to get knocked out by me and then just not lose again until I fight him again. It's funny. It's like I'm the only person that can freaking beat this kid or something. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start my training, and we're going to fight Lauren Bryant, man. Who else should we fight? You got to have that one guy that you can just beat up on to boost your confidence. You know what I mean? You got to have that. You got to have that person. If you're a fighter, if you're a person who fought a lot maybe in middle school, that one person you can beat. You know what I'm saying? You fought him one time. It was a wipeout, and you might have fought him twice, fought her twice. It was a wipeout, and you're like, look, if I ever need a confidence booster, I can fight this kid. He can't beat me with his eyes open or closed. So that's kind of what Lauren Bryant is for me. Now I'm going to do something, and I have to do it because I want to make sure my hand speed is a factor, and that is I'm going to donate some time to hand speed and head movement. I don't know about head movement. I don't really fight that way. I don't really do the whole herky jerky thing, and I could. I never do it, but I just think it's a good idea to put some points there for sure. Because if I can punch fast with decent power, everybody is going to have problems. Everybody. Now, what I'm going to do is I see that my right hand power has gone down as a result, and it's just a necessary. It's just necessary. It happens. But I'm going to go ahead and auto train there, and I'm going to boost that back up to 72, and at the same time bolster my stamina and make my heart better. So these are all great things. You know, you lose a little bit here and there, but it's worth it. And this should be a easy fight. Should be a round one knockout for crying out loud. And it'll be the perfect way to end this episode. But before we end this episode, I want to look ahead and see who we can fight next. I'm looking for a good opponent, obviously. Obviously, Lauren Bryant is not the fight that the people want to see. If this is real world, you know, they're saying, hey, man, you already beat Lauren Bryant. Why are you fighting him again? And I have to tell them this. I would say this in my press conference. It's because Lauren Bryant is there. Lauren Bryant should have been somewhere ranked number 40, 50. But for whatever reason, he's ranked 2 spots under me, meaning that he's doing a good job when he's not fighting me. When he's fighting me, he can't compete. But outside of fighting me, he seems to be a freaking good fighter. So naturally, I have to give him, you know, I got to respect him. I don't know how I fight Lauren Bryant because he seems to be, that's how I fight Lauren Bryant. I don't even think. I just punch. Yeah, Lauren Bryant doesn't, you know what's going to be funny? If Lauren Bryant, for whatever reason, just kind of brings it, you know what I mean? I'm just not expecting it because I'm so used to him just being an easy cakewalk. All right, but that's what I'm used to. I'm used to him just pretty much throwing and not blocking. There's a nice body punch. You would think he'd learned something from all these fights that he's had with me, but it doesn't seem to be that case. Oh God, oh my, that was. I love fighting Lauren Bryant. He's a good confidence booster for me. You're gonna probably see me fight him several times in this series. Why not? If he's there. Look at his head. It's stuck in the ropes. Hilarious, by the way. Oh! I've never seen that before. I probably have seen it, but it just looked a little cooler right there. I got to put that as my thumbnail, bro. You saw that punch was crazy. Man, I got to put that as my thumbnail. I just hope that when people see Lauren Bryant, they're like, oh, my gosh, he's fighting Lauren Bryant again. Of course. We're like ebony and ivory, bro. That's like my guy. Oh, my gosh. Come on, Lauren. Punch back. I almost feel like I can't end this episode off a Lauren Bryant fight. He just takes so many punches. He doesn't block. This is what would happen to all of my opponents if they actually stood up and fought me. Like that last fight, he showed the rest of the field how to handle fighting King. Like when you fight King, fight on your back foot. Now what he didn't do a good job at was protecting himself when he threw a punch, because I countered everything this dude threw at me. He wasn't prepared for that. He wasn't really ready for that. All right, Lauren Bryant goes down in the first round again, and no one is surprised. No one. I love Lauren Bryant. I wish I had more popularity because I would make him a meme instantly. Like, hey, everybody has their Lauren Bryant. Everybody has their Lauren Bryant in one capacity or another. That one person that you know will be pretty easy. No matter, I don't know if you're playing football, basketball, sports, boxing. You just know if Lauren Bryant lines up across from you, you're going to win. You know that. Everybody has their Lauren Bryant. Anyway, that was a good fight. I'm lying, by the way. And I'm going to try to never fight Lauren Bryant again. But, of course, Lauren Bryant is going to continue to win. I want to see what happens with Lauren Bryant when I'm not fighting him. I think I can see that, but I don't know how to see it at the moment. I think I have to select my next fight date. And once I do that, that's when they'll show me. So let's get that out the way. He should still be there. I don't think I knocked him into oblivion. Okay, here's Lauren Bryant here. And I can see his last few fights. Of course, there it is again. So he lost to me by KO, but then he went on to beat D Knight by KO, and that's probably why he continued to rise up. But as far as his losses, he's only lost to me. Isn't that funny? 1, 2, 3, and 4. He's only lost to me, and that's why I fight him every time, because I'm like, maybe he's changed, maybe he's different. But anyway, we fought all these guys before, and I haven't even looked at this guy. I see his name there. His name is Apollo Simpson. Come on now. We have to fight Apollo. Anybody named Apollo is probably going to be pretty good. Let's look at his stats. All right, he lost his last fight against B Low, but prior to that, He had a pretty good run, and his record is 21-8. Interesting. That's a winning record. So he has a record that is a winning record. I think this is a good fight. I think I'm going to take it, and I think I'm going to set it up for the next episode. And I would like to compare myself against him if possible, and it's not possible. But I can still see some things like his overall rating. He's a 77, which is much higher than what I am. If I'm not mistaken, I'm nowhere near a 77. So naturally, I do think that he would be a good opponent for me. He's going to give me a challenge. He's 21-8. I can't see him compared to me, and that's a little weird that I can't see that. But I am going to take a fight against Apollo Simpson. Wow, what a name. What a name. All right, we're going to fight Apollo Simpson after 2 training sessions. I'm going to go ahead and knock out the training sessions in this episode. That way, in the next episode, we'll be fighting against Apollo freaking Simpson. And before I let you go, I want to take a look here at the fight preview. Now we'll be able to compare ourselves directly to him. He is a 77. I'm not happy about that. In terms of his power, he has a lot of power in his right hand. That's a little scary considering that my right hand is not nearly as powerful. He has a strong chin at 81, so this is a scary fight. Actually, I don't know if I like this fight. I'm not sure that this was the right pick for me. He has faster hand speed than me, better foot speed, better head movement. This guy overall is just better than my fighters, and I am not happy about that. You have no idea how unhappy I am about that. For whatever reason, I thought he would be a little bit lower ranked, and this is why if I'm playing alone and I'm not showing my gameplay, I'm fighting against Lauren Bryant like 4 or 5 times to allow my fighter to level up for a fight against someone like Apollo Simpson. He's 3 notches better than my fighter, and you can also see it in this record that he is no slouch. 21 fights, 18 by knockout. Oh my. Okay. All right, new fear unlocked. I'm a little nervous about this Apollo Simpson fight. And of course, I could stuff it at the back end of this video, but I feel like that is a fight that deserves its own episode, and I'm going to give it to you. And take a look here. You see the fight of the year was against B-Lo and Apollo Simpson. We know that Apollo Simpson actually got KO'd in the 5th round. Now we know that. Round of the year. Apparently, round 5 was a good fight, a good whatever, you know what I mean? Okay, it's good to know. It's good to know. It's just good to know that I'm fighting somebody that has some things going on. We have some fighters that are retiring. You know, one thing I haven't done was look up the rankings and to see who's really up there. I've kind of avoided it, and I think that it's time to take a look. Let's just take a peek. How do I do that? I think it's rankings, right? Weight class rank. There it is. Let's see who is at the top. We got Tony Walters, who's 39-4. We got Jay Griffin, 34-5, and then we have Muhammad Ali. We are chasing Ali, baby. We're chasing him. He has an overall ranking of 91. I'm not chasing him far, okay? I'm actually going to start running from him at this point. We're running from Ali, and then you got me somewhere all the way down here at 25. But we see who's at the top, man, and it's getting scary because the more fights we win, the more likely we are to fight real boxers, and that's going to be terrifying because they have overall rankings of 93. There it is, Tommy Morrison, 93 overall ranking. That's not something I'm looking forward to, and it's weird because the champions. You would think that Lennox Lewis would have a championship. I don't care where you fight Lennox Lewis. You can fight him at any point in your career. As far as this game is concerned, he is a tough out. And I would make the argument, if I had to fight Lennox Lewis, like if he calls me out or something like that, look, it's going to be a loss, all right? I fought Lennox Lewis at the height of my skill level in this game, in Legacy, in a separate Legacy. You know what happened? He won. He won. Very convincingly, by the way. It was like not even close. Now, he didn't knock me out, and that was something that gives me hope for if I ever fight him again. But he just had length of arm. His arms were extremely long, and it just was difficult to touch the guy. I couldn't hit him. Okay, so I have a strategy here, and I think it might be the right strategy. I'm going to do the heavy bag combo twice to raise my left hand punch power above 80, okay? That is my strategy, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to play this training because I love playing the heavy bag combo. I typically do well, and the only way I wouldn't do well is if, for whatever reason, I'm so distracted by doing commentary, it throws off my speed and my focus. But other than that, I should do well in this combo. But as you can see, the guy I'm going against, Apollo Simpson, he has power, man, and he has a strong chin with 81. Hold on, let me focus. See, I'm going to focus here. I'm not going to do too much talking here. Woo! That was awesome, man. There was a couple times I almost got like a little rattled, you know what I mean? But somehow I was able to pull through that. I'm so happy because man, it was a couple times where I was like, oh crap, I feel like I pushed the wrong button. Oh man, that's always like something that gets my adrenaline pumping, man. Just knocking out that training. I love that training. It's really fun. I'm gonna try to run it back. I'm not sure if they're gonna give me 4 points again. But I do. Yeah, they are cool. Which means I can raise my left hand punch power above 80, and that should help me win against Apollo Simpson. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm a little, a little nervous, a little concerned, perhaps. Not nervous, but concerned. Like, okay, this is gonna be a fight. He has a strong chin. He has power in his hands. And I know people are watching this series to see me win, but I know we got to be a couple people want to see me lose too. So I don't want that to happen against Apollo Simpson. And you're gonna see me, level up, man. I'm gonna lift some dumbbells. I don't know what you do when you're trying to. Here we go. Focus time. Hold up. Oh, this is confusing. Oh, I try to go for a record. I try to go for a record. All right, I can breathe now. I was holding I'm like, yo, so nervous. Oh, we got a record. We placed third place. I was trying to get above 8,000, and that would have been dope. All right, man, look at that. You see it. We are now at 76. Now that fight makes a lot more sense, and this is why having 2 trainings in between each fight is so important to me because it allows my fighter to level up. And now he's at 80. Of course he is. Of course he is. One thing about this game, man, they just never slip, bro. So now he's leveled up as well because he also had the opportunity to train. A lot of people say that this game is arcade. Man, to me, it's simulation. I just feel like it's as close to simulation as you're going to get. But here we go, man. I think the stage is set. We have our fight against Apollo Simpson. Man, am I ready? I don't know. Am I ready? I don't know. 21-8 is his record, and I think we're 13-0. Here we go, man. It's going to be a good fight. You won't be able to see it in this episode. You'll only be able to see it in the next one. So throw a like on this one so that I feel motivated to do the next one and take on this behemoth. As you can see, he's not a slouch by any stretch of the imagination. Even though he's 6'1", his reach is 77. That's crazy. That means he's short with long arms. I've never seen that before. It's crazy. So we'll see what happens, man. Should be a good fight. I'll see you on the next one. Be safe. Peace.